Hi everyone, Andrea here, co-author of Facebook Marketing All-in-One for Dummies and wig-wearing comedian. And I am here to talk about Facebook ad budgets and how to set them. This is one of the big questions I get around Facebook ads, and it can be a little bit confusing when you look at your Facebook Ads Manager in the ad set area and you're trying to decide what is an appropriate budget and how do I determine that? Well, that's a really big question, actually, because you could be talking about how do I set my budget in a wider scheme of what is my marketing budget and how much should I allocate to Facebook ads. So there's that question that needs to be answered. And then there's also the question of how can I determine if my ad is going to be effective enough, if I've really got enough data to determine if the ad is working or not. So let's unpack this a little bit, and I'm not going to dive super deep into the question about how to allocate your full marketing budget. I actually have a blog post that talks a little bit about that, and I will link to that in the comments here. But let's talk about when you come to the budget and schedule section in the Facebook Ads Manager, what do you do? Well, first of all, the first decision you need to make is if you're going to set a daily budget or a lifetime budget. And the daily budget is going to try and spend that amount every day. So you're going to say if you want to spend $100 a day, it's going to try and push that ad budget through. And so that might lead to, depending on what size audience you're choosing, that might lead to some increase in frequency for people seeing the ads multiple times. So you want to kind of limit some of that possibility there. The other choice is a lifetime budget, and what that does is that spreads your budget out over the schedule that you have set, and that allows Facebook to kind of see when people are online and kind of optimize your budget a little bit over the whole life of the ad. Now, one of the challenges is once you've chosen lifetime or daily, you can't switch back between those. You can't change your mind about how you're delivering that budget. So you want to have that clear in your head beforehand. And typically, I'm just choosing a daily budget unless I really know that that is the exact amount I need to spend, and I'm going to have Facebook optimize that, because sometimes I'm adjusting things a little bit in the budget, and it's a little bit easier with daily budgets. So take a look at daily budget, and you can be really effective with a test with, say, $25 or $50 spread over a total of 4 or 5 days. So what I always suggest doing is testing your ads first and giving that 4 or 5 days to start ramping up in getting some results, and testing that at $5 or $10 a day. I prefer $10 a day, depending on the size of the audience, for sure. That gives it a little bit more significance, because one of the things with a very small budget, when you're comparing between different ads, it might be kind of hard to determine if that is a significant enough result to say that this ad was performing better than that ad. So daily budget is good, and then you start out by testing it, run it for 4 or 5 days, and then $5 or $10 a day, and then determine how well that's doing. And then you may do some calculations and decide, hey, we're getting really good cost per conversion, and we know that we can then sell a certain percentage of those people who have opted into something with a follow-up ad or follow-up email sequence. And so that becomes a little bit more of what your business model looks like as well. So the other thing that you do need to decide is how that ad is optimized. And when you select an optimization initially, you are going to, like, say you're selecting traffic, the ad will default to get the cheapest cost per click. And Facebook has actually gotten really good at getting the cheapest cost per click for you, rather than having you set some sort of specific bid price. That can be a more advanced technique that's used, but Facebook has gotten really good at optimizing it on its own. So I would, for the most part, keep the default bidding structure as is, and it's going to change depending on what objective you've chosen. So say you have chosen conversions, it's going to optimize around getting you the cheapest cost per conversion. And what you'll end up seeing there is your cost per link click will be possibly a lot higher than like a traffic ad objective, for example, but that's going to usually result in cheaper cost per conversion there from what I've seen. So keep that default optimization the same. So those are some of my initial recommendations around setting your budget up and figuring out exactly how to do some testing. There's a lot more to this, so I am going to be writing a blog post and have this video on that blog post, and I'll give you a link as well in the comments of this. So stay tuned for some more information, and I also have a full Facebook ads course, fbadvertisingsecrets.com, that gives lots more information there. So talk to you again soon.